welcome back to Pin Cut. So I have a very fun and super cute Eastery sewing project to share with you today. This is a pattern that you can find in my shop. It's brand new and it is for these little Matchbox bunnies. Aren't they cute? So the pattern includes the pieces and instructions for the bunny, the mattress, and on how to make the box. So you'll need to go grab the pattern from my shop. I will put the link down below. It will be the very first thing. And I wanted to also remind you that you can buy the Phoebe Ragdoll bunny pattern there too. That is this pattern that I released last year. Perfect for your little one's Easter baskets. And it comes with this little romper pattern. And then recently I printed my Phoebe Ragdoll pattern, my bunny pattern, at 65%, and I made this mini bunny. So really it's like two patterns in one. I'll put the link to that too. So for this little Matchbox bunny, you're just gonna need scraps of fabric. It's super scrap friendly, very easy and quick to make, even with the embroidered face. And I've already made 3 bunnies. Today I'm gonna make the 4th just for this video. I really like Easter. I like to decorate a little bit at Easter time. I never go overboard with decorations for any holiday, mostly because I move a lot. And I like to try to keep decor that fits into any house and that I can put away easily and it doesn't take up like extra space in my house, but instead it replaces things in my house. So I wanted to share with you this art that you can print off of Etsy. My friend has a brand new Etsy shop and so she made this, and it also has this one, and she has this one, and she has this one. Isn't it cute? But I love this bunny ears one the best. It's like minimalist Easter art decor. I think it's so pretty. And I got this little hanger for only $5 on Amazon, so I'll link you to that too. But I will link you to my friend's new Etsy shop so you can go buy some printable Easter art. I always buy printables for each holiday on Etsy because it's only a few dollars. And then it's so easy to just replace the art in my little hanger or on my clipboard and either put it on my mantle or hang it on a nail because clipboards can be hung. So these are 2 like really inexpensive ways to make interchangeable art in your house. But man, people on Etsy are so creative. I bought some really cool Christmas art over the holidays and it's such an inexpensive and fun way to decorate for a holiday and to support artists. So let's get into the Matchbox bunny. So, of course, you're going to need to get your pattern and you're going to need to get some fabric scraps. You will also need a scrap of lightweight interfacing. You will also need some embroidery floss for the face. And let's see, paper scissors and sewing scissors. And then your regular sewing tools and a little bit of stuffing and some little embellishments if you want. So this one has some eyelet lace and a little rosette. The boy bunny gets a little felt bow tie and tiny buttons. This bunny has some little eyelet lace in her collar. I'm gonna make this kind today because I think it's so cute. Okay, so the pattern includes instructions even for the bow tie and all 3 of these face templates. So I already cut my pattern out and I'm going to choose some fabrics. All of these fabrics are ones I've gotten from my Fat Quarter subscription service from Annie's. I'll put a link to that again. I have reviewed it in another video, so I'll put that video link up there too. But I love getting these little fabrics in the mail every month because they're always so useful for little things like this. I think I'm going to use this one and this one for this bunny. And then maybe I'll use this for the mattress. Let me just cut out my pieces. You hardly need any fabric for this at all. I've got some new sewing pins. I haven't put them in my pin cushion yet. Okay, it's best to use a solid color for the head. I really love to use linen, but I used my last linen scraps on these 2 guys. So I'm going to use this solid blue. Okay, then for my ears, you also need a little scrap of felt for the inner ear. And then you're going to cut 2 out of felt and 2 out of your head fabric. I really love wool felt. It just feels nicer, looks nicer, and it doesn't pill like polyester felt. But of course, I've used polyester felt plenty also. If that's all you have, go for that. But I do like to buy packs of wool felt on Amazon in various colors. The colors tend to be just more muted and maybe like this dustier corally pink, rather than like if you go to Hobby Lobby and look at felt, it's either light pink or hot pink. So you can get some pretty great colors if you order a pack of them. I'll try to link to some of those too. Okay, so let's put our ears aside. We're going to make our head body pieces first. We're simply going to stitch each head to each body piece across the top in a 1/4 inch seam. And then I'm going to press the seam open. Okay, I totally forgot I was going to put my ruffle inside the seam, but since I already sewed my seams, she's going to have an apron after all, I guess. So about 1/2 inch down from the top seam on one of my pieces, I'm just going to pin and stitch this piece of eyelet trim. Any kind of lace or trim will work. You just want to make sure it's not so long that it's within the seam allowance down here. So I'm just going to go stitch this right across. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim that flush. Okay, next I'm going to cut my interfacing. Probably should have done this before I sewed the ruffle on. So I'm going to use my finished head and body piece to cut my interfacing. I'm going to use it as a pattern. I like to use this very lightweight knit fusible interfacing. But whatever very lightweight fusible interfacing you have will work. And if you don't have any, it's probably fine to skip it, but it does help hide some things if you're using a light fabric on the face. Sometimes you can see the threads behind it, so the interfacing helps with that. And just makes for sturdier seams. So let me go press this to the back of each piece. Okay, so now it's time to embroider the face. I'm not going to show every step of this because I actually have a whole video on doll face embroidery and I don't think I need to rehash it. So I will link you to that, and I'm going to go ahead and transfer my face. I'm going to do my favorite one, which is the sleeping one. I usually like to go hold this up to a window so I can draw with a pencil. All right, transferred my face, and now I'm going to go ahead and embroider it. Okay, my embroidery is all done. My embroidery is never perfect, but I find that once the thing is done, it looks pretty darn good and it gets the job done. So, okay, next we have to make the ears, and we're just going to simply stitch one ear to an inner ear around the edges, not the bottom. Okay, now we're going to trim. If your machine has trouble sewing really small things like this, try attaching your walking foot. If you don't know what your walking foot is, go watch my video all about it because it will change your sewing life. And also, if things are too thick for your machine to really shove under there, like the step we're about to do, another good use for your walking foot. So I'm just going to turn these right side out. Another good thing about wool felt is that it doesn't stretch out like polyester felt sometimes can. Okay, gently sort of finger press that flat, or go press it with your iron. From the cotton side, especially if you're using polyester felt. Wool felt doesn't melt with your iron, but polyester felt can. So make sure you never iron it directly with high heat. Okay. Now, with the inner ear up, which is the felt side, I'm going to turn in the edges to the middle, and I'm going to stitch right across it. Okay, so I stitched across just to hold it all in place. Your ear should look like this. And now I'm going to stitch them on my bunny. Oops, I have a stray thread. I'm going to just center them on the top of her head like so. Place one pin in each and go stitch across to hold these in place. Okay, so now I have this peekaboo bunny. We're almost done already. See, this goes pretty fast. I'm going to stitch the front to the back. I'm going to leave the bottom edge open, and I'm going to make sure when I pin this together that my bunny ears stay out of the way of my seam line. So we don't want this ear creeping over here and getting stuck, you know. I'm just going to make sure they stay where they belong. Match my side seams. And if you have used an eyelet trim, I'm going to make sure the edges match up. See how it's kind of sticking out? I'm going to make it more ruffly by making sure it's in its proper place. Okay, and then I'm just going to go stitch this together in a 1/4 inch seam, leaving the bottom open. Okay. Next, I'm just going to trim this seam a tiny bit to reduce bulkiness. And then I will turn her right side out and see how cute she looks. Pretty darn cute. I love these colors. They're really cute. Okay, let me get some of my mess out of the way. Okay, let me get my stuffing. I really don't need very much. You want to pack her somewhat lightly. So we want to just put enough stuffing in so she has a nice fluffy shape. Okay, and then you want to stop stuffing about 5/8 inch from the bottom so that you can turn under your seam allowance like so. Sort of finger press it in place. Make it look nice and neat if you can. I like to sort of set it down and push on it so those creases get in there. And then I'm just going to go edge stitch across the bottom. You could also hand stitch this closed if you want to, if you feel like it looks too messy, but I feel like it looks fine. Okay, look, she's done with her cute little ruffled apron. You can sew on some little embellishments if you want. I buy these tiny rosettes in packages at Hobby Lobby. Same with these little buttons. But I think I'm just going to leave her with her ruffled and rickrack apron. Okay, let's make a mattress really fast. It's super easy, so it won't take long. All I need to do is to cut 2 of my fabric. And 1 of a piece of batting. If you don't have any batting, a piece of fleece could work. Or you could just fill it with a little bit of stuffing instead of putting batting. Okay, now a lot of people, when they're first making something with something in the middle of it like this, they think they need to sew it together like this with the batting in the middle. That is not the case. You actually want to place your 2 fabrics right sides together. And then put your batting on the wrong side of one of them. So it should go like this. Fabric, right sides together with the other fabric, and then batting. So I'm gonna go sew this together, leaving about a 2-inch opening in one long side. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clip my corners close to my stitching. Turn it right side out. Now, when you turn it right side out, don't turn it from the batting, turn it from inside your 2 pieces of fabric so that the batting ends up in the middle. This would actually be a very sweet project to sew with your kids. Kids can do a lot more of the steps than you might think. They love embroidery. They're usually pretty good at making up their own embellishments and accessories, so you might have to help younger ones with like the ears. But I know that when I was teaching students, they would have loved this, and they probably would have started making them little carrots and little blankets and little pillows and skirts. They would have loved this. So let me go press this, pressing the opening closed as if I had sewn it. And now I'm just going to go top stitch 1/8 inch from all the edges, and that will also sew this shut for me. All right, the sewing part is done. She has her little bed. Now she just needs her box. So switching gears, let's do a paper project. I cut out my little pattern. What you need is a ruler, and you need something to score the lines with, and then you need your materials. So I've been using cardstock. This was poster board. This is a brown cardstock. Brown cardstock comes a little bit thicker, so that one's really sturdy, but regular old scrapbook paper, the thicker kind, works great. So first I'm just going to cut out my general shape, and I've been using a rotary cutter to do this, but you can just trace the pattern also. Sometimes I use a whole separate rotary cutter that I keep for this kind of thing, but this blade is getting old anyway, so I'm just using it for this. I copied this from an actual Matchbox I have in my home to light my kitchen candle with. I copied the design and then I resized it to make it fit my bunny perfectly. She has a custom house. Okay. Now the rest of the lines we're just going to score. So the easiest way to do this is to fold on the scoring lines. So this, I'm going to match this up here. And I am going to use this end of my little sewing gauge, but a butter knife also works. Or if you have an actual scoring tool, you can use that. This will just make it fold much more easily. And it marks it for me at the same time. I'll do that on the other side. It's a very symmetrical box. Okay. Let me just fold here. Going to continue transferring my markings with my scoring tool. That one goes all the way across, but this one only goes between those first two lines. And same with this one. See how it leaves nice markings, and then my pieces will fold easily this way. You mark the other side. Okay, while I have it here, I'm going to take my little craft knife. I'm going to go ahead and cut my curved notches. Okay, so on your pattern it says you cut the solid lines and you fold the dotted lines. So with your paper scissors, we're going to just cut these 4 short lines. All right, now it's time to fold. So we're going to fold this one in, and then we're going to fold this one in. They should fold really easily because you scored them. And then we're going to fold these guys in. Ooh, I got that one a little crooked. Okay, these go in here like this. And this gets folded over and into the flap, kind of like magic. So my short ends go in on each other. This piece folds over and into the little notch we cut. There's my little Matchbox bed. Now I just need to make the cover. This one's even easier. Pretty self-explanatory, so I will whiz through it. Okay, I'm going to fold. I'll go this way so I can see my lines. Fold, 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 and fold. Okay, this one needs some craft glue. All you do is fold them in on each other. Crease them better than that. And then these shorter ends get glued together. My favorite craft glue is tacky glue. All right, the only thing left to do is embellish your matchbox. I'm gonna let you use your imagination, but here's some examples. I have some eyelet trim with ribbon on this one. This one I used fabric and some gold cotton trim. And I just simply glued these on. So make sure you use the bottom of the box as your gluing side. So see how when I glued this flap on, this looks rougher. So we want that on the bottom. This one I used some scrapbook paper with some pretty trim. So I really hope you have enjoyed this project and that you make some little Matchbox bunnies. If you do make them, I would love to see them. You can find me on Instagram at PinCutSew. It's an easy way to show me. So make sure you go over and grab your pattern using the link. And also check out my other patterns. And if you liked this video, be sure and subscribe so you don't miss future tutorials. And I will see y'all soon. Bye.